Hey, it's me, a trick-or-treater. I know you are getting ready to give me candy for Halloween, and maybe you're worried that you don't have the best stuff to give me. Well, what can make you the best candy-giving house on the block? You, in addition to giving me some sort of sweet treat, can also play an entire episode of this podcast. Before we continue my first ever journey through the Harry Potter series, just a few quick announcements. Hello. You notice this one will sound different than other intros of Potterless. That's because I'm coming to you from the laundry room of Kelly's aunt and uncle's house in Louisiana. I am in Louisiana for some other events, but one of the events I'm here for is a live show. That's right. If you're listening to this on the day it came out, then I've got a live show in New Orleans tomorrow, and you should come through October 24th. We're doing a half Potterless, half the Noose Olympian show. Very excited about it. You should check that out. You can get tickets at potterlesspodcast.com. And there also might be some shows in the near future in 2025 that are half Potterless, half the Noose Olympians. So just make sure you're following Potterless on social media. We're at PotterlessPod on Twitter. We're at Potterless Podcast on Instagram. When I do have shows, I will post that. But yes, aside from live show things, we've got this episode coming up and hopefully more in the future. We're getting into the era of live show audio where I did half Potterless, half TNO shows. And the Potterless sections were about 30 minutes or so. So it should be easier for me to get these episodes up. So hopefully I will get more of them up. But if that is not enough Potterless content, as always, you can get access to everything we ever posted on the Potterless Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/Potterless, it's been rebranded for The Noose Olympian, my Percy Jackson podcast, but you can get access to all of the Potterless stuff by joining the I Just Want the Potterless Stuff tier. It's $4 a month, and you get access to everything. So just scroll on back, and then boom, you've got access to everything we've ever posted, whether that's bonus episodes, director's commentaries, monthly Q&A live streams, all sorts of fun stuff. So all of that is there. And then we still do have Potterless digital merch that you can get at potterlesspodcast.com/merch. Wallpapers, ringtones, replays of old live shows, lots of good stuff. So that's all of that there. And without further ado, let's get into this episode. This episode is from the Portland live show that we did in late 2022, traveling far back in time. But I was joined on stage with Kelly. This was the second act of the show, and it was a very fun time. So now we will get into the audio from that episode of Potterless live in Portland with our very special guest, Kelly Schubert, as we do Wizard on Bachelor Winter Games.
Whoa! How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Potterless portion where costume changes are involved. Kelly changed her everything. I just changed my shirt and socks.
I also have a merch Kelly outfit too.
Yes.
When I am merch Kelly.
Kelly asked me, is 3 costume changes too many? And I was like, is 3 enough?
I forgot that I'd be merch Kelly, first act Kelly, merch Kelly, second act Kelly, merch Kelly again. So I did that to myself.
And you know, you've done quite well. So we are here to do a very fun and unique special Potterless improvised extravaganza. We've done all sorts of reality TV things. We've touched various elements of the Bachelor franchise as well, but we have not touched one particular element, and that is the short-lived, they only did 1 season of it, nobody really liked it, Bachelor Winter Games.
Yep.
Did anyone in the crowd watch Bachelor Winter Games? All right. Was it good? Okay, cool. Good answer, because when I was prepping for this show, I was trying to figure out, okay, let me look at the structure, let me see how it worked. And the internet was not helpful about how it worked. The Wikipedia pages are usually very thorough. It was a cluster of terribleness.
Do you know who else was not helpful? Me.
Yeah.
And I watched it. So
You did?
I did watch
The whole
it.
thing?
I watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything.
The thing that I learned about it is that it's very structurally confusing. So rather than try to mimic the structure in quotation marks, if you will, of Bachelor Winter Games, I instead decided to do something a little new and different and to show some love to a house that usually doesn't get a lot of love because they are racist in the books. But for any Slytherins in the house, okay, all right, cool. I assume you're all not racist. We're gonna go with a Slytherin-specific Bachelor offshoot, because I feel like a lot of the times when we do the relationship ones, as we've done in live shows, we usually kick off the Slytherins pretty quick, because it's like, well, they're not gonna like the racist one, so they vote them off the island. So what we've got going on here, and then this also helped because there is one girl Slytherin that has multiple lines, and that is Pansy Parkinson.
Yep.
Sorry to Millicent Bulstrode or whatever, but I don't think she got enough love for me to understand her character. What we're doing here for Bachelor Winter Games, specifically Wizard on Winter Games, I'll think of a pun later. Winters are on? Anyway. We've got these 4 boys from Slytherin vying for the love of Pansy Parkinson. So we have Draco Malfoy. What?
I was just laughing. It's funny.
We got Draco Malfoy, we got Crabbe, we got Goyle, and we got Zabini. They're all trying to win over Pansy. And the way this is going to work is that I will turn to you in the crowd to give me a number between 1 and 16, because at least according to Olympics.com, there appear to be 16 different Winter Olympic events. And you will say the number, I will pick the thing. What we're gonna do is we're gonna just have the 4 of them compete, and then whoever wins this Olympic event out of the 4 of them gets the chance to go on a date with Pansy, and then we'll kind of figure out what those folks would have in common, where they would connect, all that kind of stuff. And then at the end, we'll kind of figure out, all of us as a group, with Kelly and I's thoughts and the applause meter, who would win the love of Pansy Parkinson in this very normal date type setting. Now, what we normally do when we have competition type shows like this, when we're improvising them out for Potterless Lives, is that we usually say there's no magic involved. They're not allowed to use magic. That wouldn't make it fun. We want to see, like, on their merits, who would do well in Survivor or Great British Bake Off or whatever. But in this case, because we were just doing regular standard Olympic events, magic is completely on the table. Anything goes, wands, brooms, spells, potions. Especially that led into the Slytherin of it all. Doing stuff to screw over other people, like, let's go.
Yeah,
Let's have some fun.
There'll be some of that, I'm sure.
So, for the first event, could someone give me a number between 1 and 16? 12 was the first thing I heard. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, perfect. The first event that they will be competing in is skeleton, which is head first luge.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Because I don't know what was invented first, but if luge was invented first and someone said, going down a very scary ice thing on just one of those mechanic rolly things, not scary enough. What if you went head first? Skeleton. Have you ever watched Skeleton?
No, I didn't know it existed.
Yeah, I mean, it's what you think it is.
It's exactly what it sounds like, yep.
And it's very aptly named, where it's like a death-sounding name
Yeah,
for a
it
death
is. Yeah.
race. Now, in Skeleton, it's 1 at a time, so you're going for the fastest time. Between Crabbe, Goyle, Zabini, and Draco, do we think anyone's going to have an advantage? Zabini and Draco would both have the Quidditch advantage, so they at least have the familiarity with going quickly around curves and stuff.
I think this is going to come down to, and pun both unintended and intended, who is the most hard-headed of all of them.
Oh.
Because it just takes a lot of, like you can use magic to propel you faster, right?
Yeah,
or something like that. But it really comes down to who's okay with going head first fastest, because you can like melt the ice in front of you with fire to make it slippery and go faster, or you can like propel air out the back or something like that. I think there are different magic things they can do. But like if it was me doing it, I wouldn't, because it sounds terrifying.
Yeah, I think that makes a very good point, because I think Crabbe is the one who used faintfyre. Yeah, right. Okay, so Crabbe feels like the most okay with really using dangerous stuff, and this is a very dangerous event. So yeah, I feel like he would be doing all those sorts of things to go faster. Maybe he uses like maybe he's learned to get better at faintfyre, and he does very faint fire, and he's melting it to make it even slippery. So yeah, I think Crabbe could come along with it. I feel like Draco has a bit too level-headedness to be scared of this terrifying event. So
too much in his head to be okay with going head first.
He doesn't want to break his very pretty face.
Yeah. It's coming back to me now, the Bachelor Winter Games. I remember them all being horrible at the games.
I do remember that now. Not surprised at all. Yeah. So let's say Crabbe wins this. He wins a date card with Pansy Parkinson. Where's the next Olympic Games going to be at? Where is that? Next Winter Olympics. And Google tells me it'll be it's going to be in Paris, France, in 2024.
Cool.
Okay, very romantic. So let's say it's at the 2024 Olympic Games. They're going all to Paris and everything.
Hey, editing Mike here. So clearly, we all know that that's not true. that the 2024 Olympics, yes, they were in Paris. They were not the Winter Olympics. So we recorded this episode in September of 2022. The Winter Games happened in February of 2022. It was a weird thing with Olympics and me. We were traveling at that time, so we didn't watch them. And then with the whole COVID 2020, rescheduled 2021, I didn't recognize that 2026 would have been the next Winter Games. I didn't do the math. I'm on stage. There's other things I have to worry about more so than when are the next Winter Olympics. The correct answer would have been Italy in 2026, but instead we did a bunch of Paris stuff for 2024. And you know what? It's still fun. You're still going to enjoy it. But yes, I know it's incorrect. And it's very funny now that I'm posting this episode in 2024 where it's very obviously incorrect. But I will say no one in the crowd corrected me, and a lot of people bought tickets. So who's really at fault, me or all of them? Anyway, let's get back to the episode.
Where do we feel like Crabbe has the ability to take Pansy on a date in France? Where does he take her?
Now, I don't think... Oh, maybe that's too sophisticated.
Yeah, when I think of Crabbe and Goyle, I don't think high society.
Yeah, maybe that's too
That could be a
cool.
Draco one. Put that in the back of your
Well,
brain.
first of all, the contestants don't determine what dates they go on. Those are all pre-done by the producers.
Right, but you know, the producers will have known Crabbe well enough where they're gonna give it for the particular people. I think this is still a Crabbe.
They try to do
Well,
things
I'm
people are
not
uncomfortable
NBC.
with.
I'm Mike Schubert, and I want a Crabbe-themed date.
Crab-themed date. Go eat crab.
I mean, I never had crab in France, but
Me
I do
neither.
feel like him and Goyle, as JK gave them one note, they like food. Maybe two notes. They like bullying and food.
Food-eating one.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
I feel like they could do, oh, you know what's very wintry? Oh, here's what they do. They could do a raclette party.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I don't know if anyone's ever done a raclette party. All right.
Raclette
So
is
there's
fun.
two different ways you can do raclette. One, you can get like a big hunk of cheese, and then you just get like a hot knife, and then you just like slice it, and it just like goes onto someone's plate. Very cool. And it's the second coolest way to eat raclette. The first coolest way, my Parisian coworkers told me about this, and I got invited to a raclette party where you just go to someone's house, and they have purchased a lot of cheese. And they've also purchased things to put cheese on top of. So like veggies, bread,
Meats.
like, yeah,
Things
cured
like that,
meats,
yeah.
all that kind of stuff. And then you have this big thing, kind of like one of those, it's like just like a chocolate fountain looking thing where you've got like layers and layers and layers. And then you have little individual spatulas like this. And you put like a chunk of cheese on it, and then you put it into the middle thing, and there's like a heating element in the middle of the tower, and it slowly melts the cheese on your little spatula, and then you wait a little bit, and then you take it out, and then you pour it onto whatever you eat, and then boom, melted cheese
That's cool.
onto whatever you've got. I went, and one of my friends happened to be vacationing in Paris when I was there. I was like, dude, you gotta come to this cheese party. It's gonna be real wild. He came. We did the math of like how many pieces of cheese we did, and then like added it up. We each ate 2 pounds of cheese. It was so good. Oh man, I feel like Crabbe has a raclette party with Pansy Parkinson. He has a great time. Does Pansy have a great time at the raclette party? A resounding no from someone in the back. I mean, in the defense, or in the defense of maybe what I'm thinking was with Pansy, who seems to be very concerned with her looks. Lisa, my coworker, who told me about these, because when I first moved there, it was like the fall. She told me about them. She was like, "Oh, we don't have them until the winter, when everyone wears heavier jackets, so we can hide how much cheese we've eaten."
I think probably Crabbe gets too into the food of it all
yeah,
and
yeah.
doesn't ask her enough questions about herself and find out about herself.
Okay, all right. Mhm.
Yep. So
I think it's
he
valid.
thinks it goes great because he had a bunch of cheese and he loved it. And
Yeah.
she's just like, yeah, the cheese was fine, but I'm also lactose intolerant. And he didn't ask me anything
You
about
didn't ask
myself.
me that before. I like that. I also would love it. Like I see the editing on The Bachelor. Like I can see it be the situation where they cut to Pansy and she has a horrible time. She's like, "Oh, this is bad. He didn't ask me, blah, blah, blah." And then they cut to Crabbe. He's like, "It was great. I thought it went super well." Okay, that was the first one. Can I get another number between 1 and 16? 7. Thank you very much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, okay. So this one, a little different. Freestyle skiing, which is the skiing where
fun.
you do tricks and such.
That's cool.
That is very fun. Very, very different vibe from Draco, Zabini, Crabbe, and Goyle. Who do we think is going to be the best at this? I feel Draco. Yeah.
First of all, I think that, he's been fancy growing up. Maybe he's actually skied before.
Oh, yeah.
And I also think that it would require, if you're using magic while you're doing it, some like intricate wand work to make yourself float around in different kind of formations and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like he could be good at that.
I also feel like it's kind of like flying through the air, which he's comfortable with as the seeker.
That's true.
But it also involves lots of theatrics, which his father is very comfortable with. And if we're going by a Harry Potter musical Malfoy family, then of course, they're gonna be great.
I think he transfigures his skis into brooms. Ooh, and then he's just like broom surfing, skiing. Yeah.
Genius. Yeah. All right. So he nails it. He gets to take Pansy on a fancy Parisian date. Mm-hmm. Where do we think they go?
Okay.
Yeah, okay, here we go.
This is one I was going to say for Crab, but it was too fancy.
Okay.
I think that he rents out the Eiffel Tower.
Whoa, got the money.
You know how at the top where you've got like the glass floor, he sets up a table on top of that, and they have like
I didn't go that high up when I was there.
Yeah, well, I think it's like in the mid-level. It's
not worth it.
And me, afraid of heights, I like ran across it and that was it.
Okay.
But there's like a glass floor at one of the levels, and he takes her up there because the top level is actually like really tiny.
Sure.
So I don't think they're up there, but they're somewhere in the middle on the glass floor eating dinner. But before that, I think they have like a little ice skating date. The pool that's in front of the Eiffel Tower.
Okay.
Frozen over. He freezes it over with some magic.
Wow.
They have a little skating date. Then they go up and have dinner in the Eiffel Tower.
I mean, that sounds pretty good.
Super
It also
fancy.
feels very up Pansy's alley. She feels like fancy girl. He took her on fancy boy date.
And she feels very doted on.
Okay.
And that he's like interested in her. He does talk a fair bit about himself, I'm sure, on this date.
Classic Draco fashion.
But I think he also listens to her talk about herself on the date. So
they're perfect for each other.
Yeah.
Hooray. Okay, great. All right, that date a success. Can I get another number between 1 and 16? 3. Thank you very much. Okay. Ooh. Okay.
What is this?
Well, I've realized that some of these are team-based events.
Oh.
But this one in particular does involve 4 people, and we have 4 contestants. It's bobsleigh. So I like the idea of these 4 dudes who are fighting against each other having to be in the same bobsleigh. I don't know how we decide who wins. Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
good call.
It's a group date. Yeah.
It's all right. So they just go on the bobsleigh and
Yeah.
then they get to go on a group date. Now, in the bobsleigh, I don't know I would assume smaller people in the front, bigger folks in the back, just like feels like how that would work, but I have never run in a bobsleigh before. Not my strong suit. I don't know.
Would you want more weight at the front to like pull you faster?
Couldn't tell you. Let's focus on the Harry Potter stuff.
I'm going to my knowledge of like water slides.
Yeah. I do feel like no matter what happens, I feel like Draco's going to be upset at Crabbe and Goyle for not doing well enough with like leading into the turns.
Yeah.
I feel like he's going to be upset.
They start arguing a bit, and
I think the 3 of them definitely are going to be grumpier about it. I do think Zabini's going to have the best look. Like, I'm sure it's a situation where Pansy is observing and all that kind of stuff. And this happens sometimes in the group things where they, especially when they play sports, like some people are really mean and then one guy is more chill and that person gets more favor in the group date. So they're going on a group date in Paris now. This is the producers for sure going to orchestrate this. Group date in Paris. What would be a good? Oh, what if they like went through the catacombs? That's a very group thing, which is fun. Like I thought they were super cool. I took my parents there. My dad loved it. Barb didn't have a great time in the big skull underground. If anyone's not familiar, like there's just like straight up skulls and bones and skeletons,
really
like
narrow
lining.
pathways.
They are like they turn bones into walls.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I went with my parents and my sister and brother, and they were like really into it and like reading the signs and having like a like historical moment. And I was like, I'll meet you at the end. And
Yeah,
I ran through and met them. And then at the end, you have to climb this really, really tight circular staircase to get up. And I just I'm on the stair hyperventilating. And my family's like a mile back and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I think this is where I died. Did I take the wrong way? And I had to like wait for people to come up behind me for me to feel okay with keeping going. I hated it. It was horrible.
Okay. Now, when we're thinking of the people on the group date, who would be comfortable, who would be scared.
So let's say that Pansy feels the same way as me. She does not like being down there.
Someone's got to comfort
Who's
her.
going to comfort her?
I feel like Zabini, I think, would comfort her.
I think the other three run off scared or like become too into the death of it.
Right. It's one of the two.
Yeah.
Right.
Draco runs off scared. The other two are like, oh, skills.
Oh, cool bones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Set him on fire.
But no, I think Zabini's, again, like, Crab and Goyle gets so distracted that they don't pay attention. Zabini notes that she's trying to, like, put up a good face, so he, I think, kind of takes her aside.
Gets her through it quickly. The other three are still in the catacombs, and they're off having dinner somewhere.
Okay, great. So that was the group date.
I think it goes well.
Can I get another number between 1 through 16? 6 is what I heard. Thank you very much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, figure skating. Again, this feels much more in the wheelhouse of Draco and Zabini.
I know, but
Unless Crab and Goyle start like messing with the other people's skates and stuff.
that is a good point. Yeah. I have no idea what goes into this magic-wise. It feels like a really skillful thing. And theatrics, again, Draco would be good at.
I think he would. But I don't know. I feel like Zabini could be sneaky and like I feel like he could come through. He's just got the athleticness. He's a little more. He's very suave. And I don't know if this. I'd have to like rewatch the movies. But I met the actor who played Zabini at one of the Leaky Cons, and this dude was like, he was gorgeous, but he was like very well put together, like dressed well, really good British accent. I was like very impressed by this man. So I could be like projecting adult actor who played Blaise Zabini onto Blaise Zabini, but. I don't know, I feel like it could be in his wheelhouse.
Maybe like Crab and Goyle see Draco as the front runner right now, so they like mess with his skates.
I like that.
And they like turn his blades into ferrets or something, and he freaks out and runs off.
Yeah, I Tonya round 2, baby. Now we can say he won, great. Now Zabini's taken Pansy on a date where it wasn't the Catacombs where it was put on him by NBC. He gets to pick a date.
He gets to pick a date to take her on?
Ooh, you know what? What if he takes her just like shopping spree?
Ooh.
Like they go to all the
That's
fancy.
wonderful.
Well, yeah, right. Like they go to the couture shops for clothes, jackets, purses, jewelry. Like they just do all like they go all down Champs-Élysées, all the fancy stores.
Go up to the top of it.
Then they go, then they
traffic.
go to the Arc de Triomphe, right? Go up the Arc de Triomphe, look over the very interesting like traffic circle that I never want to drive in ever. It looks like death.
Looks horrible.
But yeah, I think that would be very romantic again.
Yeah.
Really up her alley, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. When I was in Paris, one of my friends was going to propose to his girlfriend at the end of the trip. And so we got to go ring shopping with him to have him pick out his rings.
Yeah.
And he went to all the fancy jewelry shops in Paris. I felt so out of place.
I think that did go super well. I think she has a great time. I feel like it's right up her alley. She seems to be like someone who would be very fancy. And again, I'm trying to not project actress onto because Scarlett Hefner, yes, that Hefner. She's married to, the actress who played Pansy is married to like Hugh Hefner's son, I guess. I don't know, or grandson, because that dude was old as hell. Like, but yeah, she's now Scarlett Hefner. So again, like very fancy, but.
Well, we didn't get enough like context on
That's
their personalities
true.
in the books and movies. So,
So let's project the actors.
Project onto them. She loves the fancy date.
Loves the fancy date. It goes well. Now, let's get to another event. 1 through 16. Can I get a number? 16. Thank you very much. Ooh, speed skating. Speed skating. I feel like Draco would have the advantage here just because all about speed. Seeker, that's all about speed.
But
Feels
again,
right in his
though,
wheelhouse.
I think it's who's got the most like will to go fast because it's scary again.
Okay.
So agility comes into play, but also who's willing to just go fast.
Oh, no, here's what's also, you make a very good point. The thing that happens in speed skating sometimes is like when they get around the turns, it's really like fighting for position. And sometimes, as long as you don't break any rules, like if you just bump into people, like sometimes collisions happen. Goyle's very sturdy. That dude is like a linebacker. Like he's not gonna get flimsy little Draco's gonna like bounce off him and fly into the stands.
I think he's got fire coming out the back of his skates and he's, he's willing to go fast and he's just knocking into people.
Okay.
Which once you're down, if you're Draco, that's the end of it for you. You're just like crying off to the side about how you should have won.
I don't think you can get back up. Okay, so Goyle gets his first victory. What is a Goyle date looking like in Paris? Oh, we have touched food. We have not touched wine. Maybe they go on like a wine tasting.
Sure.
They're all adults in this one. Yeah, they're all 18 or over. I feel like various Parisian wine tasting, they could go, I know what they do. They could go to like, what is it, Loire Valley, like where all the big old school castles are and stuff. And there's like really good wine. And then when I had gone down there, we were driving in between like the big old school castles type looking things where the big fancy Parisian people lived. But we were driving with my friends, and then we just saw a sign painted on like plywood, and it said "Wine Cave" with an arrow, and we all said yes. Went to the wine cave, and then it was really nice. It was like classic if you ever go on like a wine tour thing where people like explain like the grapes and what they made in whatever year or whatever. And we thought it was gonna be super expensive. And then we had seen like a receipt on the ground that said like $50 on it. And we were like, oh, every wine bottle costs like $50. Like, that's a lot. But this dude like showed us a tour, didn't charge us anything up front. Like, yeah. So we each ordered a bottle. And then when we got to checkout, it was only $10 per bottle. And we were like, and it was already like way too awkward, like pass. And it was just like, how do we tell him we'd like much more? We thought it was so more expensive. We don't speak enough French. But I could see him taking her on a fancy wine thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to have the same issue as Crab. Like, is he going to get too drunk? Is he going to be too excited? It feels like that's something that could happen to Goyle. Yeah, I don't know if it would go super well.
Maybe they both get a little drunk though, and it's an enjoyable date in a way. And there's enough food there to keep their stomachs full.
Okay.
And maybe they actually have like a decent time. Like, it doesn't go horribly wrong.
I think it could be fun where like it goes well, and maybe it's one of those things where like people watching the show, you know, they're like, oh, this guy has no choice. Like, oh, pleasant surprise, Goyle. Look at this. So really, only Crab has fumbled the bag. Yeah. Everyone else has had like a pretty decently good time. I feel like this is at the point we've had the good like happenstance of all of the different events. We've had a winner in each, so I think we can try to figure out. They've all had their winners. They've all had their one-on-one time. They had a group date time. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see who did well in biathlon. The wildest, like, let me ski and then shoot stuff. Yeah. But from these four, Pansy's got to make her decision. It's all the dramatic cutaways where she's talking about, you know, who she connected with and who's going to be her person and all the very generic things they say in The Bachelor. Who we feeling? Like, I think Crab is safely screwed it.
He's out.
He had his death by cheese. It's gone. It didn't work out.
I think as much as she was surprised by Goyle, again, she just doesn't see like a future with him because he wasn't fancy enough.
Okay, so you're thinking it's between the fancy boys.
I think it's between the fancy boys. She's a fancy girl. She wants some fancy boys. I think she had the best time on those dates. She was romanced, and she felt like she connected with the two of them. So I think it comes down to those two. Okay,
the two fancy boys. So I think we turned to the crowd for the applause meter to see from the two fancy boys who would be the ultimate winner. To recap, we had Eiffel Tower date with Draco and had wining and dining, had the ice skating beforehand, very smooth move by him. And then on the flip, we had classic Parisian shopping spree day with Zabini, took her up to the Arc de Triomphe, looked at the traffic, talked about how weird it would be to drive the cars there. Nice time, maybe it was even the sunset, whatever. Now, we'll do round of applause. If you think that Draco would have been more successful and Pansy would give the final rose to him, make some noise. Oh, if you think Blaze Zabini would win, make some noise. Yeah. All right. Shout out to Zabini.
I'm not too surprised. I like it.
I think it's fun. He's, as I've said like multiple times, I feel like if he would be such a fun candidate of like the one good Slytherin. Like it would be so cool if he's like the one book Slytherin. You all who raised your hands earlier, I'm sure you're all lovely people. Like it would have been cool if like he stayed back at the Battle of Hogwarts, like just him. That would have been really cool. Yeah. And JK didn't do that, which of course she didn't, because that would have been interesting. Yeah. But all right, well. That has been Wizarding Wintery on Bachelor Witcher Games. Huzzah! And now, for the remaining little bit of the show, we can move to Q&A.
Hey, Editing Mike here just one more time to let you know that most of this Q&A you can hear on episode 60 of The Newest Olympian. Basically, any question that was about Percy Jackson stuff, I put into that episode, and I left in the just Harry Potter questions here. There's just one. It's a good one, but you will now hear the only non-Percy Jackson question. If you want to hear all the other Q&A stuff, head on over and listen to the end of episode 60 of The Newest Olympian.
Running out of time. We'll just do maybe like one more. This one's from Jordan. It says, hey, Shoots, I'm Jordan, longtime listener, first-time emailer. I'm a Ravenclaw, and it's good to see you again. I went to the Seattle show and helped you with ordering for the BTS members for Kelly's questions, to say it in naming order. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming down for the show. I don't know if you're doing questions for TNO as well, but if you are, on the same theme, I have a question for both you and Kelly, since you're the one who got me into BTS. If all the members of BTS were half-bloods, who would be their godly parents? or would they be half-bloods at all? Did we answer this in the past?
I think we did it in another live show that hasn't come out yet.
So you'll hear that in the future. If you're only answering Potterless questions, my friend wants to know what your least favorite Harry Potter ship is. Is there any crack ships that are not even sort of realistic that you enjoy on the flip side? Okay. So just like any sort of pairing that people put together, I really don't like when people put Draco and Hermione together because he was so mean to her.
Yeah.
Like he said racial slurs to her often. Like, I don't understand. Be like, oh yeah, he's like bullying her because like sometimes boys like bully the people they like. He called her racist slurs all the time.
I think worse than that is Snape and Hermione.
Snape and anyone.
Yeah.
That's super. Yeah, that's super
right,
bad.
because then you've got like he ridiculed her in front of a crowd, and there's just a whole power dynamic that makes no sense.
Unforgivable.
I don't delve into the world of ship fan fiction like it's been. I don't know if I ever have, but I know that's one that I just like can't fathom.
Nah.
Where that origin story comes from.
Now, let's end this on a happier note in terms of any like weird Harry Potter pairings that aren't together that you would think. My classic pairing that's not like super weird, but I wanted to get together was Neville and Luna. I thought they were perfect for each other.
Yeah.
I really was disappointed that they weren't together.
Crookshanks and Fang.
Oh!
Yeah.
That's a Disney movie waiting to happen.
Exactly. Didn't we see them like walking around the grounds together sometimes?
I mean,
yeah.
That's
romantic walks around the lake.
Yeah. Yeah. The squid like plays music or something. Yeah. Hey, it's great. Perfect. Love it. Great note to end on. Thank you all so much for coming out to the show. This was a blast. Give it up for Kelly for being an incredible guest. Shout out to all the folks at Holocene, from sound to hospitality. It was so smooth. The bar, the food, everything. Give them a round of applause. They made this such a seamless, nice show. Made our lives a whole heck of a lot easier. Thank you all so much for coming out again. I'm going to bounce Kelly Beal the merch table, but as they say, oh man, how do I combine the two endings into this? I still got to figure it out.
You do this every time.
I do this every time. I don't know how to
do the middle one.
Well, you know, as they say when they're having a good time, they say first in Portland, they first say, wizard on, but then afterwards, then they say, I'll pursue you later. Thanks for coming out, everybody.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Potterless. Potterless is created by Mike Schubert. It is hosted by Mike Schubert. It is edited by Mike Schubert. It is produced by Mike Schubert, and it was made possible by lots of people who supported on Patreon over the years. As I mentioned in the intro, you can get access to all the things we ever posted on the Patreon for the 5 years that Potterless was a regularly posting podcast. Just go to patreon.com/Potterless, and for $4 a month, you get access to all the stuff. Thank you so much for listening. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you are subscribed in case we post stuff in the future. If you like Potterless, tell friends about it. It's okay that it's not necessarily posting regular. We still have over 200 episodes and people still find the podcast new all the time. It's very fun. I'm glad people still find it years and years later. An update from the last time that we posted, you can leave comments on the episodes now if you're listening on Spotify. So that's pretty cool. And I'm able to reply to them now. So that's even cooler. So that's a fun new addition that has happened in recent months. I will be at Enchanticon in St. Louis in August of 2025. I'll be doing Potterless stuff. I'll be doing stuff for the Noose Olympian. I might even just be doing some general interviews of some of the other guests, but that's always a really fun time. And I had a great time at LeakyCon Portland most recently, doing some Potterless stuff there. Portland, that's fun. And now the St. Louis one in 2025, now LeakyCon has been rebranded as Enchanticon to show that it is more than just a Harry Potter convention. It's a general nerdy convention. So that's pretty cool. So you can get tickets to that at enchanticon.com. You might get 10% off if you use the code Schubes or Potterless or the Newest Olympian or all of them. But give that a shot, but I will be there, and it will be a fun time. Thank you so much for listening. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for sticking around. And thanks to everyone who has ever listened, who rated and reviewed the show, who told people about the show. All that's awesome. I really appreciate you so much. Thank you. And until the next time I post something onto the feed, as they say in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Wizard on!